I'll show you it works.
What the hell is going on here?
These videos are satiric reviews. You don't have to agree, but don't bitch about it.
Hey there, I'm Social Injustice Warrior V Infuso, and wrestling is weird. I mean, what other sport could you find a vicious team of male cheerleaders, a monster truck sumo match, a mummy trying to present itself as a yeti, and then as a super giant ninja? I'm still trying to get my head around that one. Or Kazarni. Just Kazarni. But those are just the characters. The weirdest things in wrestling sometimes have nothing to do with the characters, the wrestlers, the performers, have nothing to do with them, but have to do with the matches. So with that being said, let's take a look back at some of the weirdest match types in wrestling history. Now, ahead of time, I'm gonna say this, I know I definitely didn't cover all of them. Far from it. I'm only listing a couple here because if I was to get into every single mistake of a match, well then quite frankly, I could do a whole series on this. And actually, I intend to. So, in the comments, let me know which ones I missed. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever sat down watching a wrestling event, watching the in-ring action, and wondered to yourself what it would look like in a hay truck trailer? Well, someone in WCW did. The match was dubbed the King of the Road, and the match included the likes of future Goldust, Dustin Rhodes, and former Smash of Demolition, Blacktop Bully. And hey, I got it right that time. Are you guys happy now in the comments? Are you guys happy? Is that what you wanted? Because you got it. You're welcome. The match would have been bad enough as it is, considering the two men, while talented in their own right, lacked chemistry, and neither man was exactly over with the WCW audience. But add to that this match is taking place on a moving vehicle, which obviously limits the wrestlers competing in it, and also the driving, because they have to go at an impressive 3 miles per hour to make sure no one dies. And not only that, this match wasn't won by pinfall or submission. Oh no, instead, this was won by ringing the bell on the other side of the truck. That is so stupid, I don't even have a joke for that, because it's already its own punchline. I couldn't tell which is slower, the pace of the wrestlers in the match, or the pace of the truck that they were wrestling in. And the icing on the cake here is this was a one-time only event, and it would be the last match that both men wrestled in the company because each man took it upon themselves to blade, which the WCW prohibited at the time. So, overall, this whole thing in many ways completely pointless. Thank you, wrestling. You know The Undertaker's legendary casket matches? Matches in which the only way to win is to knock your unconscious opponent into a coffin and shut the lid? I mean, sure, that match is strange enough in its own right, but for a character such as The Undertaker, you know what? It actually kind of works. Well, TNA wanted a piece of that action and decided to not just rip the gimmick off, but to put their own, well, let's say, unique twist on it. And by unique, I mean shit. Even the ring got into Gimmick as the posts were decorated with candelabras and fake tombstones, which the pair of Sting and Abyss would use as weapons. Oh man, that's really fitting for a company called Total Nonstop Action. That's a lot of action. Also, what was their slogan? Oh, yeah. Huh. Yeah, I would change that. The only way of winning this match would be to lay your opponent out in what was referred to as a deathbed, probably because TNA was under the impression that WWE somehow copyrighted the word casket, and after doing so, shutting the lid, and then pinning the casket for a 3 count. At which point, the coffin, oh no, the deathbed would be raised to the ceiling. For some reason. The match was bad, but the crowd was great, as they chanted for Russo's dismissal from the company, blaming him for this hard gimmick. And you know what? I don't understand why. You know what? Vince Russo isn't the fault of everything in wrestling. I mean, come on, what has he really done? More on that later. Well, the casket match wasn't the only match that TNA ripped off from WWE, as they decided they needed a piece of that sweet Money in the Bank action too. The Money in the Bank match is a match where several men compete in a ladder match, with the winner being whoever grabs down the briefcase first. That winner is then granted a title opportunity that he can cash in at any point in time within the next 12 months. A Feast or Fired match, however, is a match that has several competitors and several briefcases hanging above the ring, and each one is plucked down by a different superstar. with each case holding a different contract. One is a world title shot, another is a tag title shot, so if you're a single star and you got that, you're screwed. Another is a chance at the X Division title, and finally, the last briefcase is a pink slip. Oh yeah, that's right. This is a match in which one of the winners is fired. Is that stupid enough for you? Someone is stupid enough to agree to go into this match knowing that even if they win, it can end in their termination from the company. But, since this is TNA, and let's be honest, it's had its, let's say, less than stellar moments and owners. So maybe the pink slip is the real prize here. I like to imagine that. I like to imagine that that's the real grand prize that everyone's fighting for. I like to imagine that they go into the match like, oh man, I hope I get that pink slip. And then as they're finally about to open the briefcase, they're like, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy. World title match! Alright, whatever. And what's equally as dumb as that is that the ending of these matches and the briefcase reveals are basically telegraphed. Because everyone knows. You have a match in which there's an X Division wrestler, a tag team wrestler, a main eventer, and somebody who's either unhappy backstage and it's known publicly, or is just not getting over with the audience. Gee, I wonder who gets which briefcase. I mean, come on, think about it. Was there any question in anybody's mind that when Curryman took down the briefcase, you're going to tell me you thought that it was a world title shot? Really? Hey, remember what I said about Vince Russo? Yeah, well, screw that. Screw what I said about Vince Russo. I almost don't even know how to describe this next match that Booker T and Jeff Jarrett competed in. It was the only one of its kind, like a few matches on here, and that was for good reason. That reason was because it sucked. The match consisted of 4 boxes being tied to a pole, because Vince Russo was booking this, and for some odd reason, he has a fascination with poles. I'm not going to kink shame you, I'm just telling you, Just be honest and tell us that that's your fetish. Each box would contain a weapon inside to use, and the last box would contain the WCW World Championship. Oh, did I forget to mention that? Yeah, this shit was actually for a world title. Amazing. The items contained in the boxes included a portrait of Scott Hall and a blow-up doll. Which, if my knowledge of behind-the-scenes stuff is accurate, I would say that both of those things they might have found in the same dressing room. The only way to win was to grab down the box that held the title in it. So not only was this horrendous in both theory and execution, the way to win this had nothing to do with competition or strategy, but just pure luck. Well done, Russo. Way to go, Vinny. You did it again. Fuck you. And to make matters worse, despite Booker T being claimed the winner, he didn't even actually win the match. The rules of the match were whoever grabs the title first wins the strap. And it was actually the ring announcer. And I don't know about WCW, but in WWF, you're not allowed to just go and hand titles over. I mean, just ask Ted DiBiase and Andre the Giant. Of course, I'm looking past British Bulldog and Al Snow, but this is more convenient for the joke. Stop it. Stop writing that comment. Stop it in the comments. Stop it. Come on, guys. Why couldn't you give this guy a run with the belt? I mean, Vince Russo got to be champ for a hot minute. Why not him? WCW ring announcer? That guy. Why not him? I won't front. I don't know his name, and I don't care enough to learn it, so send me the hate in the comment section. I know. I should know. The Kennel from Hell match must be the worst match with the most potential, being that it's a old-school steel cage structure within the Hell in a Cell. A cage within a cage. I mean, it's cageception. Now, that actually sounds somewhat promising in theory, but in execution, saying it fell short of the mark is an understatement, as even Marks didn't care for this. The prelude to this match saw Big Boss Man kidnap Al Snow's dog Pepper, before killing it and serving it to him in a meal, which is also why the match showcased vicious dogs surrounding the ring, except the dogs weren't actually vicious, and were instead far more interested in shitting, pissing, and trying to relieve other needs around the ring. This match was a botchamania wet dream, and a WrestleCrap review just waiting to happen. Years later, they'd take that cage within a cage gimmick and develop another pretty shitty gimmick called the Punjabi Prison, a match that was tailor-made for the great Khali, who allegedly was his specialty. However, Khali would go down with elevated liver enzymes and would be replaced by the Big Show. Oh, wrestling, you really are too much sometimes. You should Stop. You should stop it. To be fair, the Punjabi prison was actually light years better than its predecessor, the Kennel from Hell, but that's not really saying anything at all. Although, to be fair, I don't remember the Kennel from Hell getting its own action figure. So with that being said, those are some of my favorite bad matches and bad match types. If you yourself have any gimmick matches that went too far that I forgot, and let's be honest, there's a lot of them, let me know so I can include it in the next one. And believe you me, there will be a next one. So with that being said, I'm the Social Injustice Warrior V Infuso, and if you like the words that came out of my mouth hole and you too want to become a VTard, don't forget to like and subscribe. There's plenty more where this video came from. Follow me on Twitter because, hell, why not? It's not considered stalking if it's on the internet, am I right? And don't forget to join the Discord. I don't have anything catchy to add to that, but just join it. Just go do it. And if you have a free moment of time and a free $1 to spare, then head over to my Patreon, where for just $1, you too could help keep this boat afloat. And if you don't have that $1, but you do have a free moment of time, then hit the share button. It will help me out tremendously.
The VTards, oh.